who's on. Does everyone have a Canva account currently? Do you have one too? Okay. Daniel, I know you do. Drake does for sure.
Okay, so we're gonna get started. So thank you for joining us. And this is for you. That's your microphone. You can patch it wherever you want. Thank you for joining us. Today's class is going to be creating designs in Canva. We're going to start from the very beginning. So if you don't have an account, we highly recommend that you sign up for one.
Yes.
There are two versions. One of them's free. That one is a great starter account. The only issue with that is that there are more advanced designs in the Pro version. The Pro version is around $13 a month. Highly recommended. It's probably the best $13 you ever spent.
Yep, I agree.
A lot of the free designs are very basic, but you want access to as many more advanced designs that you could customize. So a couple things we're going to cover today is, and can everyone see the screen fine?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. These are the things that we're going to be covering today. Do you want to talk about your
Yeah, I'm gonna go over Magic Switch, a tool in Canva, animation, adding animation to your stories or your Instagram posts. Also gonna go over background remover, how to remove, you know, if you don't like the background in photos, you can just do the background remover with a click of a button. And I'm also gonna go over elements, backgrounds you can add to Instagram post or stories. I don't know, I'm like trying to look at the camera. Yeah. And then another feature in Canva called bulk create. So that's what I'm going to be going over.
Great. And I'm going to be covering open house flyers or property flyers, how to customize those templates really quickly, adding your properties to them from your website and mobile app. And we're also going to cover print materials such as postcards, business cards, also printing your flyers, and the best practices for printing. So you can actually create designs in Canva for things that you use every day, like business cards, but there's a very specific way to create those. And we're going to go over all of the little tips and tricks. All right. And at the end, we'll have questions. So why don't we get started? So what we're going to do is demonstrate in Canva real time, so you can actually see what we're doing and recreate those. If you want to follow along in your Canva account, you certainly can do that. So why don't we have Summer start? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go over the Magic Switch tool. So, okay, we're on the home screen. I'm going to go to, let's say, because I predominantly do Instagram posts and Instagram stories for Coastal. So I'm going to click on this one, the Instagram post. And a tool in here that I use a lot is the Elements tool. That's how I get a lot of my content for the Coastal page for like the team meeting posts and stuff like that. So I just search kind of what I'm feeling. So let me just search beach theme, you know, in here, in the Elements tool. And I usually just go to the photos. They have a lot of different options, as you can see. You can choose for your background. I mean, you can search anything in here. It doesn't have to be beach, obviously, but for what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to click set image as background. You can add text by adding a text box. So So I'm gonna make a image for, let's just say, for example, for the next team meeting next week. You can add font, make it any color you want in the upper tool here that you see. I'm gonna make it white. Okay. Make it bigger. What is also cool about this toolbar up here is you can, if the background is too like bright for you, you can fade it out with this transparency tool. It's really cool. I like that. Sometimes I use that a lot. So just make the font bigger, you know, play around with it. I usually will add a headshot of Hallie or Manny or whoever's leading the meeting usually. So in this case, let me get an image for Hallie. Why is the keyboard not working?
Oh, I think you have to move that thing closer to the screen.
The keyboard?
Yeah, sometimes
Oh.
it's
Hallie, there we go. Gonna search her headshot. Okay, so I just got a basic image here. I'm gonna now show you the tool that I've been talking about. It's the Magic Switch tool. So it's up here, Resize Magic Switch. What's really cool about this tool is when you create your image, you can make it into any size you want on here. You can do a custom size, social media size. You can make it into a flyer. Predominantly what I use mostly is stories and Instagram posts and flyers for what I do. So sorry, I probably went too fast, but you're going to go to social media and then I'm going to hit Instagram story. You're going to hit continue. And I usually hit copy and resize. I'm going to open the story. And now it makes it into an Instagram story. So it's a little different from the Instagram post. It's a little bit taller, longer. But yeah, that's how you do the resize tool. You could resize it, a flyer. I mean, you could do any size, anything, postcard, flyer. I mean, the list goes on what you could do. Also, what I'm going to do is you can add a frame for pictures, a frame behind the picture. I'm going to add a circle so it looks a little bit nicer for Hallie's picture. Whoops. What is happening? There we go. Isn't that cool? You could use different frames. They have I mean, here's all the frames you can do. I mean, the options are endless on Canva for everything. I mean, it's really quite amazing, the stuff you can do on here. But yeah, I'm just making a coastal team meeting post. You add your text. You put your, your logo that you have on here. If you have a logo for your business. I usually will put the coastal logo, like here's an example of this is actually one that I made a couple of months ago for the team meeting. And you just put any kind of content you want on there, So that's pretty cool. Okay, so another feature I'm going to show you guys is the animate feature. Yeah, so everything's up here in the toolbar. Pretty much everything's here and on the side. But for the animation, I just hit that. And there's different fun animations you can add just to make your post a little more intriguing and eye-catching, I feel like. So I usually, you know, there's some cool stuff you can do, pop, wipe. You could also pick the intensity and speed that you want it to go. I really like the animation tool a lot. I think it's really fun. And like I mentioned before, it makes your post really eye-catching to people, I feel like. Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to keep going or do you want
Yeah.
to?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So let me go back to the home page. I'm now going to show you guys background remover, the background remover feature. So let's see. Should I do a post again or should I do it different?
Well, you could use the,
Beach, take out the beach.
yeah, or that, you know, her photo right there. You
Yeah.
could remove her background there.
Yeah, should I start a new thing maybe?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so background remover. So if you have a headshot, picture, and you don't quite like the background or there's something that looks weird and you just want it gone, this feature will get rid of that. It's quite amazing. So, well, she doesn't really have a, I guess, okay. Okay, well, hers already looks kind of black, her background. It's not bad, but just for showing you the purpose of it. Where was that? Oops. So right up here on the, again, on the toolbar up top, you're literally, all you're gonna do is just hit background remover. What it's probably gonna do is make it white probably, huh? So it like completely removes the background, which is really interesting. It's so clever. It's so great. Her background wasn't bad on hers. Do you know a photo we have that's kind of not a good background that I could show them maybe? On
There
the
might
top
be
of your
one
head?
under uploads.
Whoops. Sorry. Everyone, upload. Give an example.
If I could go back to that back, there was a guy and he had a background at the top.
Let me see.
That might be easy.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you how cool this tool is. Give you guys
Yeah, that right there.
this.
Is that a good one to take out?
Yeah.
Or not?
So let's see.
Put in the beach.
Okay, background remover. Yeah, it just like completely gets rid of the background. I mean, it's super cool. Yeah. Yeah. And the elements is my favorite thing because you can search anything in there. It doesn't have to be like a beach, like it could be anything. Yeah, I just did a 4th of July flyer actually. And they have so many options. I mean, it's amazing.
Put your videos in.
Replace background and
Yeah.
boom, bada bing, bada boom, you got that. You could add your text. Again, you could add your logo for your business on there, anything you want, you know, if you're going to do a flyer or social media post for your business page, this is really great. They have graphics, you know, if you didn't want to do, if you wanted to kind of create your own. I think this feature is really cool. Yeah. So those are pretty much all the features that I use on a daily basis. I'm hoping you guys will use them too, if you'd like, for your business pages. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Doug's gonna go ahead and show everyone flyers and postcards and stuff like
Thank
that.
you, Summer. Very helpful. So what I'm going to cover today is flyers for your open house or your listing. Specifically, when you have an open house, there's a couple things you can do. One thing is if you go to your website, so I'm just going to go to my website. And it's your KW website. And as long as you have location services turned on, when you're on your computer or your iPad, you can use this bar right here to search for listings. Or let's say you're holding an open house this weekend, you can actually go to the listing that you're holding the open for. So let's say I go to one of the listings here. All right, so this is using location services. If let's say I take this listing, not that one. Let's say I take this listing right here. Let's say I'm going to hold this open this weekend. If I go to the listing on my website, right? So here you have the address of the listing. If you type in here, right after the address, you type in /open house. Hit return. It'll take a second. But what it will do is produce a open house sign-in sheet. So you don't have to have those papers, the sign-in sheets that you print. This is actually an alternative to that. So whoever visits the open, as long as they fill this out on your iPad or your computer, this will go right into your command. So it's very simple. First name, last name, email address, phone number, submit. This will go into command. You just create a tag for open house on maybe that particular day. It could be agents or the public, as long as they click these buttons. Now, that's a good way to capture leads, right? So what you can do is you can have this form on a flyer with a QR code, so that when the visitors come to the open, they're not all having to use your device, right? You don't want them touching your computer. You can have them scan the QR code, get to this page, register on their mobile phone very easily, and then submit that, and it goes right into your command. Then you could put them on a smart plan and have the automated email sent out immediately. So that's one thing. So let's start with the actual listing, okay? So let's go back. So we're going to create a flyer for this listing here. When you do this, you do need to have photo rights to these, to the photography. So one thing to note, do not take photos from the internet, including the MLS. Download those and use those in your marketing for your listing. Now, one of the 14 steps of the marketing plan when you're meeting with a seller is that you're going to usually do professional photography. And that usually costs around $300 for a 3,000 square foot home, sometimes 350. But it's important that you do that because the photographer knows exactly the shots to get that it's going to make it the most attractive. Rather than using your cell phone, your iPhone or Android, they're the professional, right? So they can get the best quality photos. You will own the rights to those and use them freely. But so what we're going to do, I'm just going to use these just for as an example. Sorry, this mouse is acting weird.
you're doing an open house for that aging,
What's that?
if you're doing, if you're doing an open house for that aging, can't
Yes.
you use those photos?
Yes, if the agent that you're doing the open house for had paid for the photography, then yes, you can use those. As long as you have the rights to those, or you're assisting that person.
Agent.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the listing. We're going to copy this address eventually. All right, so let's go to Canva. All right, so we're going to go to Canva. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a design. All right, and we have all the different options here.
Mhm.
Right, so you have let's say flyer, let's say real estate flyer. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to create this flyer and we're going to use a template. All right. So there's all these different templates that when you type in the search bar that will show up. All right. So once this loads, a little slow. All right. So we're just going to choose one of these templates, something that kind of looks attractive. Let's say we go. Let's say we take this one right here. All right, so we're gonna customize this one. Just increase the size. All right, so what you notice here there are elements. So when you hover or click over these different boxes on here, you will see these purple boxes show up. These are different elements in the design. So this particular box is a photo, and usually these are what Summer had mentioned is a frame. So you want to make sure that when you create flyers from scratch or that you're using one of the templates, that you don't alter these sizes of these frames because they're already preset. This is a particular size. It fits nicely there. It's uniform. Once you take this and you start to, and I click on it, and I start to edit this one frame of this photo, like maybe drag it up a little, it's going to be very difficult to get it back to the same size, and it's going to look odd, right? So what you have here is the ability to just use the standard frame and not touch it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my drive. And then I am going to go to I download these photos. So these are, let's say, the photos that your photographer took in your drive. All right. So now that we have those, now what we can do is we can upload them. So see where it says upload? We're going to upload these files. Okay, so I'm going to take these 3 photos. And last one. Okay, so now I have these uploads here in Canva. I can just take these and drag them to the appropriate area. So if you notice here, I can just drag this to the appropriate box. And that's how a frame works. So the frame is static. It stays the same size unless I alter it like I did this one. But when I drag these photos into the boxes, it fits exactly in that frame, right? Also, the one here at the top is a frame. So I could drag this photo right there.
Yep.
All right. So now these are text boxes. These are different elements. So all I have to do is double click in there and I could just type in whatever I want. Right. And then these are also editable. So here, if let's say, I think this one was 2.5 million, I could just double click in there. Sorry, this keyboard is acting weird. Okay, so 2.5. Now see how it's not big enough? I could either shrink the font or I could drag this over. Because this text box fits exactly that right there, I would actually just shrink this text. So I would just make it a little smaller so it fits. Single family residence, change the square footage, change the description, it has these icons. All of these things are editable. So as I hover over them, I could move them, delete them, edit this text, and edit here. So one thing to note, we recently had a compliance class for marketing, and there are certain things that you have to have on different marketing pieces. So this flyer, I would definitely need our logo. I would definitely need a legal disclaimer at the bottom that you could get from your office. Basically, you know, the company doesn't guarantee the square footage. This is not intended as a solicitation if it's currently listed within a broker. Each office is independently owned and operated. All of that can be in really small text right at the bottom. Of course, your contact information. Now, there's a little section on the left here called brand. So you can actually upload all of your logos, all of your colors that you consistently use in most designs. So if you like a particular palette, you can actually create your own palette. And every time that you create a design, you could just select this palette and it'll be used in this design. The reason why these were created was because corporations actually have Canva accounts. And when their employees create designs, they want to make sure that the employees are using the company colors. So Keller Williams is red, you could use a red palette. And then your logos here, so you can upload these in advance and have all of these available to you. So if I just click this, it puts it right in the design. I shrink it down by dragging the corner. I could get rid of this box here. And I could put this logo right there. All right. Put your contact information, just double click this and update that. One other thing that you have to have on here is your DRE number. That's something you really shouldn't forget. But let's say I wanted my photo on this flyer too. So I can create an element here. I can drag this element to the design. I can shrink it down. I can upload it here. And I can fill it with a photo. So let's go to uploads. And let's just take, let's test it with Hallie. All right, so let's say I put Hallie in there. Now, remember with the frame, all you have to do is drag it right there. So see how Hallie's photo fits exactly in that frame? All you have to do is drag it until she goes in there. All right. So now with this background remover tool that Summer had mentioned, I can actually remove the background from Hallie's photo. All right. So basically Hallie's background is now gone. Before it was black, now it's gone. So the background removal tool is very handy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So is the template. The
I'm sorry?
template, the template tool is super handy. So you
Yes.
don't have to do it by scratch. I mean, this saves your time, very time
Exactly.
efficient.
And by
very
doing it
cool.
within the design, before, this is a new feature.
Mhm.
Probably a month ago, or when did we go to Canva Create? Like a month
month
and a half ago. This wasn't here. This is a new feature where the background remover tool was actually outside. It was in one of these areas. So you had to go outside of your design, remove the background, and then put it back. So what they've done is
It's just
they've included
easier.
all of these tools right here for you.
Mhm.
Seen it.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
makes it easy. The,
Yeah, but it hasn't been on that, it
It was
hasn't been on that.
image effects,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it had the background, but
Yep.
it was multiple clicks.
yeah,
Exactly.
multiple clicks.
Exactly.
This one's more accessible,
It's
one
good
click of a
for-
button.
So they put everything right under in your fingertips,
and
right in the design.
You might want to even show them, they have a cropping option up there too. I mean,
Yeah, you can crop,
the
you can crop
possibilities are
anything in
endless.
here. So that's adding the photo. We changed out the pictures, we changed the frames.
Could you remove background on that house? Like if you wanted it to be, if it was raining.
We can
could you get a blue
try.
sky? Can you make it a blue?
Yeah,
blue
let's
sky?
see.
I think you can. I think
If
you
it's-
can.
Not a blue
Yeah,
sky?
sometimes it's a little fussy because, you know, it removed the sky,
So
but
if
it left
it's
the
blue, yeah,
buildings.
you could-
Yes.
You could put blue sky.
That's
Yeah.
a great question. Can you do that, Doug?
What's that?
That's
If it's a
photo.
rainy day,
Yeah, that's a
but
photo.
if that picture was taken in the rain,
Yeah.
can you make it a blue sky?
Yeah, you can, what you can probably do is just remove the sky like that, which it did, and then put on the back an element, and then do a square. And then what you're gonna do,
You have to find the right shade of blue.
yeah, so then you just go here. Let's see, yeah, you know what, it's not transparent. So there is a
Yeah,
way
that's-
of
that's good.
making this photo transparent. Like you can actually go outside and add a blue sky to this. I'm not exactly sure how to do it within here, but that's a good question. We'll have to research that. Okay, so let's say you don't like it, you just hit this undo button.
Hey Doug,
Yep.
there used to be a flip option on the picture.
Yes, there is.
I'm doing it alongside you. Like I'm trying to flip my picture so I'm facing the other way. Oh, how come I don't
Yeah.
see that?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
there it is.
right in
There
this
it
little
is.
bar.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome.
That's great.
Okay, so now that we have this flyer done the way we like it, let's say we wanted this flyer, we're going to print it out and have it out at our open house, right? What we can do is create a QR code right in Canva to go right to the listing. Right? So what we have here is this, we have this is the listing. We have this address. We're going to copy that. Going to go back to design. Now there's all these tools and apps that we have access to, right? So here we have the app section. There's a gazillion apps. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. So you kind of have to test which one is which.
Mhm.
But the great thing is before you had to create QR codes through a third-party app. Some of them were free on the internet through Google. Some were not. The problem with the free ones on the internet is that those QR codes don't last very long. They're usually 30 days.
Mhm.
So what you could do now in Canva is create QR codes for free right in the system. So let's say I go to the apps and I type in QR code. Okay. So what we have are a bunch of QR code apps that are connected to Canva. So there's all these different apps on the outside. They connect directly to Canva through API. And now you have all of these free and paid QR codes. So this QR code generator right here is paid. You have to pay for that. And so is flow code. But this one is free. It's a basic QR code generator. You paste the address in there. You generate the code. Now you have a QR code that shows up right in
So easy.
your design.
So easy.
So what I could do is I could take this, move Hallie's photo over here, put the QR code here. And then if you want to add a little text, I could actually copy this, change the font. Let's say check out listing here. I could reduce this font. I could break it. So now all they have to do is take my flyer, rather than going to the internet, searching for this listing or going to my website, they can go right to my website using that QR code. Now, the advantage of that is when they are on my website. So this is my website here, right? They could see all the details. I have the branding here. Now, this is not my listing, and we cannot pretend it's my listing, right? So by law, we have to give this Compass the credit, right? So Steve Nader, he does a lot of business in Belmont Heights here, but it's very small, right? It's almost not noticeable because there's so much going on here. If the person that visits the site wants more information, they contact you right here. Property information, property details as of that moment. How many views has this property had? Upcoming open houses, mortgage calculator, tax history, very important. You could get a lot of information from this tax history, right? If your property tax here is $1,000, you know this home was bought many years ago, and it was probably a single or maybe two owners, and it's been in the family for generations, right? So here we have the assessed value and the property tax. That's very important for your buyer, right? Because a lot of times buyers don't think of, okay, property tax and insurance. Oh, sure, I can afford that mortgage, right? But if your taxes and insurance are not rolled into your mortgage, it's going to be a lot more. So we also have other listings in the area. So this is why you want to drive traffic to your website and mobile app. You want to get people to go there because as they view this one listing, they can see, because they're interested in Belmont Park or Belmont Heights, they can see all the other listings that are available in their price range right on your website. And if you notice, they haven't left your website. Market snapshot, very important. There's 5 listings in this area, the average price. Schools, if your buyer has children, a lot of people move to Long Beach in this area just for the schools, right? So all of this information is right on your website. Gives you a map of all the listings in the area that match the criteria of this listing.
How quickly does this information populate when you input a property?
It's usually, well, it depends on the MLS. So let's say you enter this into CRMLS, right? There's a feed. Well, it's already in the MLS.
Like this would be a powerful tool during a listing appointment.
Yes,
Get how we're advertising your property.
absolutely.
So, but I don't have the listing yet. Can I still utilize this?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So this is on, you're always going to want to make sure that you're on your website, right? So here's your website domain. So yes, use this, go over the properties in this area with your buyer, right? Or your seller, and you go to your website. And you want to stay on here as long as possible, but you can use the data. So if I just go to my website here, the homepage, right? I could just do search, and that takes the nearest listings to where I am. So here we're here in Long Beach, 2nd and PCH.
And does that give you the agent version of the MLS information?
No, unfortunately it doesn't, because this is a consumer-facing app. So it's not going to have commissions or anything like that. It's just strictly whatever the public can see.
Look, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, these are our 5 competitors. They're all offering a commission to the other.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you have to use the MLS for that. All right. So that's the most important thing, is getting to this website, taking the domain, going back to Canva, and creating the QR code. All they need is a phone now. They don't need a computer, right? They can access the listing immediately. The other thing that the Canva has are all these other apps, right? So if you look down on the left, you will see apps such as Magic Media. So what Magic Media is, it uses AI to generate anything you want, all right? Images, graphics, and videos. So all I have to do is, if I wanted to create an image, right? I could just type in home by the sea. Or actually, let's say mid-century home in the forest. So what it's going to do is going to use AI, take that quote, and then generate an image based off of what I asked for. So here's a mid-century home in the forest, completely AI generated, right? Now, this is not real, right? But I can create anything I want. So that's an image that I create. I could also create graphics, anything I want, like, let's say open house sign. Now, these are graphics. It's different than an image, right? This is a drawing. It's something that is created. An image is more like something that's real. So here we have like little graphics that I could put on here, right? And then I could just resize it, drag it wherever I want it. And then videos. So it does create videos, such as boat sailing, in the ocean. So basically, it'll create a little video, whatever I want. So Magic Media is a very powerful tool. You can actually, whatever you think, you can create. Now, one thing to know, when you do create these images, the AI is not completely refined, right? So sometimes what you create can be a little, it's an interpretation that the computer is trying to generate what they think you're trying to create. So sometimes, like we tried one time, a woman holding a baseball glove on a baseball field wearing a hat, but she had 15 fingers. You know, her nose was weird because it's taking all of these different elements from the internet and composing them. So sometimes it's not perfect, but Magic Media is a huge tool.
Hey, Doug.
Yes.
I don't know if I blinked when you did that. I mean, I know that I have a paid account on Canva.
Mhm.
I cannot find Magic Media.
You cannot find it?
Uh-uh.
It should be on the left side. So under your under these icons,
Uh-huh.
you should be able to see it when one of these icons on the left. Yes, it is fairly new. So what Canva is doing is they are releasing more and more features all the time. So you don't see it at all.
I do not.
How about if you search? What's that?
To the apps, I can search.
Yeah, let's see if they're on apps.
Is it under apps or is it?
No, it's more, it should be in one of these icons here.
Yeah, I didn't know if I missed a step while I was.
Huh. That's odd. Okay, so let's say you're in this design. I think it might be also. That's odd. I'll have to see why it wouldn't be in your account.
Do you have to be in a certain place for it to come up?
Mm, let's see. I was
Yeah. It was up on the top two bars.
yeah. Let's go back into a design.
Magic switch.
Yeah.
Vertical magic.
Yeah, it's called
Oh, it's a different thing?
yeah, it's called Magic Media. So see how it's right here on the left side on mine. Maybe you have to add that. Yeah, let's go to
Yeah, you've got a lot more on the left than I do.
oh yeah. So what I did is I created these apps. So see the app section?
Right?
Go to Magic Media. Yeah, so type in, go to apps, and then type in Magic Media, and it should be right there, the first option.
Okay, I see it.
But what you see here are all of my apps. So if I go to apps right here,
Uh-huh. Okay, it's there now.
do you have your apps and then discover? So these
Okay.
are all the ones that you can search for. And then you could save those. And once you use them, then they become your apps.
Okay, it's there now.
Okay, so there's another cool app on here called Image Upscaler. So let's say you have a photo and the photo is very blurry or it's dark. It's not quite, print ready. You can actually take a photo. So let's do this. I'm going to go to, I'm going to go to uploads and kind of look for a photo like Bob. Okay. So Bob's photo is it's not the most sharp and clear. What I could do is I could go to right here, image upscaler. So what I could do is I could do 2 times as good, 3 times. Oh, see this one, it's not allowing me to do. Normally you could do 3 or 4 times as good. What's that? Yeah, it's a little blurry. See how when you increase the size of this, especially if you print, it's going to print blurry. So what you can do is upscale the image. So what it does is it makes Bob's face more clear, gets rid of lines, makes them more. So see, you could see on the right side. So here's before and here's after. And now I could replace that. And what it will do, see how much clearer that is? See the clarity of his eyes and his eyebrows? So what it does is it makes him more crisp and makes him look younger, right? It also evened out his tone.
Yeah.
So you can do this up to like 5 times as good, but it's AI generated, right? So it's not going to be Bob. It's an upscale, but it's good for, let's say, a marketing piece. So now you want to print this, you can do that. There's also one other tool. If you go here to the right, there's something called Magic Grab. So one thing that you can do, let's say go to this photo here. Let me get rid of Bob.
So much going on. Maybe you want to start like a new template.
No, that's okay. I'll just get rid of some of this stuff here. So Magic Grab, if you had, let's say, photos, let's say we take this photo right here. Okay. And we do Magic Grab. What it will do, it'll take selections from the photo. And now, so in this particular case, this is the bush that it's selected, right? So it's kind of still work in progress. But what you can do All right, so it selected the roof. I can select different elements in the photo. And what it happens now is now you'll be able to move those elements around the photo. All right, so here we have this right here. I can actually take that out. So now the house doesn't have a roof, right? So AI is trying to fill that in with what's behind it. So there's a tree behind there. So Magic Grab is kind of a cool thing. Let's say this tree, for instance. Let's see if we could.
Hey, Doc, that's, or is the tree really there? No, this is an AI generated.
Yeah, it's probably using this tree in the back to create that image back there. So let's see if we can select this tree. All right, so we're able to select the trunk. Oh, okay, cool. So it's going to allow us to select the whole tree. So let's say there was a telephone pole in your photos. You can actually just remove it completely.
I know.
So there, right? So now the tree's gone. So it's kind of a cool feature, but again, it is AI generated, so it's not going to make the picture perfect. It's trying to fill in the gaps there. All right. So we could always go backwards to the house we liked. Right there. And remember, this was AI generated. You can kind of tell it looks a little fake. All right. Okay, so any questions on flyers, QR codes and such? Yes.
You saved me a lot of time because what I normally did or what I was doing was I was grabbing the QR code from list reports
Uh-huh.
and then I would print it out and I have it on a lanyard. So when I'm walking around the house, I have people scan that for the for the open house flyer. But this way, if I can do it, because I always like my mentees to get the leads.
Mm-hmm.
So I could actually have them go on their KW site, do this, send me that URL, and I can create a QR code for them. That way it goes right to their command.
Absolutely.
Versus to mine and then having to share it again.
Exactly. So it should be their website,
Right.
you know, so that they can go and have those leads go to their command.
Right.
The next thing I wanted to cover, oh, you had a question?
I did. So once you finish this beautiful flyer,
Uh-huh.
right? And let's say, so it has, at least mine is set up to where it's like by project. So, you know, AI house,
Mhm.
century house flyer. And then let's say you have like 3 other flyers that you like, and you want to reuse this same exact template for a new listing.
Yes.
I don't know how to move that flyer into a new project.
Oh, good question. So right here, oh, one other note, when you create these designs, this particular design, be sure to name it here. All you have to do is click in there and just type whatever you want. But right here, what you would do is you would just make a copy. And then what it's going to do is create another design of that. You could rename it, and now it's a completely separate design. Oh, no. Yeah, this will make your life much better. Yeah. Okay, so let's do one more design. And this has to do with print processes. So you can do postcard mailings through Canva. Canva has a fulfillment house where they will put the postage on the postcard. But we also have a series of printers that we can have your design sent to. Usually it's a little cheaper. Business cards as well. So let's create a design and let's just say business card. And the process is the same for business cards and postcards. So it's the exact same. Now, when you do a business card or any other print material in Canva, there's something called the bleed. The bleed is the area from the edge of your design off around 1/4 of an inch where the printer will cut it off. And so the image bleeds into the edge of the cut. If you don't have that, then you'll have a gap of like a white space where you don't want it because then it looks weird. So the printer will cut before that white space. So now you have a seamless design. So when you create a business card, there's different templates that you can use. You'll have to edit the bleed afterwards. But let's say we just say this business card here. And you can choose different template designs, right? So let's say we have this one right here. All right. So when you're dealing with this design, these design elements, this here is 2 inches by 3 1/4, I believe, 3 1/2, right? So this bleed extends past there, and this can be a real big problem. So what you have to do is you use this resize and magic switch, where you could use custom size. And you would do, I think it's 3.75. Keyboard. .75 by 2.25. All right, so 3.75 by 2.25. All right, so this is a standard business card with the bleed. Now, if you don't have a bleed, like let's say this whole thing was white, you don't have to worry about it because they're going to cut it, and this area right here, it won't matter where they cut it, right? So we're going to resize this design. And when we do that, what we have to do is we have to kind of stretch the edges a little, right? So now this is 3.75 by 2.25. Now we can make sure that we edit the info, but everything surrounding this, if you go to File, you could go to Settings, and you could show rulers and guides. So here's the ruler, right? And then if we go back to File, Settings, we could show print bleed or margins. So what happens is the printer can now see exactly where the cut will be. So you have to make sure nothing goes beyond that line. Otherwise, if this was here, it would probably be cut off. So when you do business cards, you could do them really cheaply at printers locally, right? So maybe instead of it being $55 somewhere else, it'll be $35 here, local. And all you have to do is just customize this. Now, once you save this, you have to save it in a certain way. So we haven't really covered actually sharing options, but you can share those social media designs that Summer creates directly on your social media accounts. So you could connect your Instagram account and send it right to your Instagram. But if, let's say we wanted to print, we would download. And you remember when we were talking about downloading photos and you remove the background? It's important when you download that photo as a PNG, you always want to use PNG. PNG stands for Portable Network Graphic. And what that photo is, it is a static sized photo. If you copy that photo from one place to another on your hard drive, it will not degrade. A JPEG will degrade. So a JPEG is a compression-based file where if you copy it on your computer from one place to another, it's like a photocopier. Every time it compresses and it gets more degraded. That's why sometimes people have photos on their computers and they look blurry but like a couple years ago, they were fine, right? So PNGs are ideal. You could use those for printing. But when you download this photo right here, make sure you click this transparent button. That means your photo will not have a background, and then you could place it anywhere you want, like this guy, right? Also, you select the number of pages, right? Now, when I want to print, I'm going to print as a PDF. There is a regular PDF standard printing, and there is a PDF for printing. This is the file that you would send to the printer. SVG, those are graphic files, like graphic designers use those. Higher end, I think they're called vector files. They're not very useful except if you have special software like Photoshop, Illustrator. Now, one other thing that Canva has done is they've bought or they've aligned themselves with a company called Affinity. So you no longer have to have Photoshop or Illustrator. Canva's company now has another company that is a competitor to Photoshop and Illustrator, and it's much cheaper and has just as many features. So when you want to print this, you're going to flatten this PDF. So all of the elements and of this are going to be flattened, and it's make sure it's PDF print. And then you'll see this color profile. So RGB is best for the computer. The computer only has so many pixels, so everything looks good. But if you were to take that same design and print it, it could be blurry. So you don't want RGB, you want CMYK. So this is the standard print process. So C stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So those are all the colors that make up every color in the spectrum. So you want to make sure it's best for professional printing, both pages, and then you download. And now you could send this to the printer and it'll look beautiful. If you don't do this flattening and you don't use the PDF print, there's a good chance it will not look good once it's printed.
So, I used to work for FedEx office on their commercial print, and Keller Williams has a discount. They have a national discount card. Also, one of the tools, let's say that you get an appointment last minute, and because if you send this through Canva, like I've sent it through Staples because it's walkable from my home, it takes a few days. FedEx office, you can print it yourself in the self-serve and get it, like the email will go, like you download the file, you email it to printandgo@fedex.com. It'll give you a code, you just go into one of the machines of self-serve and then you could do your thing there.
Oh,
When you're in a pinch. And if you are producing a lot of print, use that discount code.
oh, that's good to know. Yeah, definitely let them know. Did you guys hear that? Yeah, no,
Didn't hear it.
no, actually. Yeah, here's the microphone.
Hi, Drake. So I used to be an account executive for FedEx Office for their commercial print, and FedEx Office is a huge tool when you're in a pinch and need some graphics or marketing materials very last minute. You can download everything from Canva. You can email it to printandgo@fedex.com, and you'll be able to walk into any of their locations, populate the code into the self-serve copy machine, and it'll produce your flyer immediately. And then FedEx Office actually has a program called a national discount card. Of course, Keller Williams has one. If you would like the code that I have, just send me a text and I'll send it to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's very valuable information. Because
Who was that speaking?
Eileen,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so the reason why it's important is because it's hard to get, I've been working with printers here for a long time now, and it is a struggle.
To get it.
Yeah, to get it correct. Like I've received business cards where things were cut off wrong, the color was off, the pictures were blurry. So it's important to use a good quality service that Eileen was mentioning. Does anybody have any questions? Do you have anything else, Summer?
You pretty much covered.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any questions, Drake?
No, that was great. I have a brand new box of business cards on my desk, which I hate.
Oh, no.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely check out the templates in Canva.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you for
Thanks
attending.
so much.
Thank you,
Yes.
everyone.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, we'll put the recording on the YouTube channel.
Great.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Doug. Thank you,
thank
Summer.
you.